Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode on the Fashion Fables podcast. We are very excited to welcome Roz, talent acquisition partner for Burberry. Roz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to, talk to you today.
So let's get right into it, Roz. If you could begin by telling us a little bit about yourself and what really led you to the position you have now with Burberry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to college, obviously at Wagner College in Staten Island. I was actually a pre-med major, a pre-med, but I was also a business major at the same time because you couldn't become a pre-med major, you had to have a major. So I took a lot of business classes, and I always had an interest in business, but I always thought, hey, I'm going to medical school, so it's on the back burner. But it's a nice thing, nice skill set to have because medicine's a business at the same time. So after college, I went to med school for a year, realized it wasn't for me, and I needed a shift in careers. And my sister, she also works in HR, and she recommended the field where I could still make a difference and help people, and that's something that was really important to me. So that's where I really got interested in HR, and I had my first opportunity with Domino's Pizza as an HR coordinator. There, I got my foot wet in the sense of learning of all the different aspects of recruitment, HR support, employee services, stuff of that nature. But that was based in Florida, and I'm from New York. So from there was an opportunity with Tiffany and Company, which was a contract opportunity at the time. So it wasn't even a full-time gig. It was only supposed to be 3 months for a maternity cover. But for me, it was worth the risk in the sense that it's an industry that I'm very passionate about, which is fashion. And a brand like Tiffany, it speaks volumes with their history, and just the opportunity was just very exciting. And this was dealing with benefits. So that contract, got extended for more than 3 months, obviously. And then the pandemic hit, and, things kind of changed, and my role was eliminated. And I realized that I do want to stay within HR, but benefits was not really for me. So I had been having conversations with other companies, and really was picky in the sense that I want to find the right fit. And then one random afternoon, I remember I was at the gym, and I got a call from a recruiter that I met with probably 2 or 3 years ago about an opportunity with Burberry, which again was a maternity cover. And it's Burberry, a brand that I've grown up loving. I think a lot of people admire, and it was too good for me to pass up. And again, at the same time, I knew it was a potential 3-month contract with no opportunity for extension, but I was banking on myself that I would be able to make a positive impact immediately. So that's exactly what happened. I took the role on, and after 3 months, my contract expired. They extended me a full-time opportunity, and I've been here since. And since I've been here, I've oversee a vast majority of our recruitment for our Southeast retail stores, our Vineland distribution center. I've done our outlets, and I do our corporate roles as well. So it's a bit of crazy ride to get here, but I'm very happy to be where I am today.
That's awesome. I feel like it's so hard. How could you not have accepted that offer? Because honestly, it's just an awesome name. And also, I'm sure you learned so much, and you got your feet wet into different positions before you like landed with Burberry. So you kind of knew a little bit about HR, what it was all about. And so you were kind of ready to like make that jump no matter like what kind of happened. And like your journey just sounds like you went in a bunch of, jewelry and then, fashion. So that's all super awesome and an inspiring story that almost like you never know where you'll end up, and kind of just
Mhm.
like make the best of it, and you'll ultimately like find where you're meant to be kind of thing. So that's super cool and awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes, like you just mentioned, you just don't know where life takes you, and
Yeah.
I think it's easy to get discouraged. We see on social media all the time where someone's doing this, but hey,
Yeah.
your time will come. And I had those moments too where I was looking at other people and whatnot. But I think just stick the course, and you'll be fine.
Yes, for sure. So what is it like having a position with, this luxury, well-known fashion brand, loved just by so many around the world? Like, what does that mean to you? And how do you think that helps with your role, kind of with Burberry?
Yeah, I think honestly it's a privilege in the sense that there's so few of these luxury brands that have rich history.
Yeah.
So to be affiliated with a brand that I admire, before I even started working here. I think that makes my job a lot easier because I am typically the first person that people will meet when, they're interviewing or something of that nature for a position with our brand. So it's really important that I set that precedent of, what makes this brand great. So I take a lot of pride in that. So obviously you're seeing the background that I have, but at the same time, I think, I don't take it for granted because again, like I mentioned, things. This is, we live in a crazy world now, especially with COVID and
Yeah.
whatnot. But so you have to really take the opportunity that you have and kind of run with it. But it's a pleasure to work for this brand and a lot of people at the same time that have an affinity for it. And just fashion is it's fun, it's unique, and everyone has their own taste on it. So being able to express yourself and to learn somebody else's interest really appeals to me. It makes my job a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I feel like Burberry does have that distinct, the plaid, like your collar. And like it's just everyone knows when it's Burberry, like, oh, that's Burberry, and it stands
Mhm.
out. Just because I feel like it's super timeless and classy and it like the look never gets old kind of thing. So I'm sure
Mhm.
for you working in that and people coming up to you and like asking, what do you recommend? Stuff like that. Like it almost is special for you to be the one to help with that kind of thing. And I'm sure you've met so many awesome people like along the way who you've built connections with that can kind of help you in your career too. So just inspiring and congratulations on such a profound role. That's awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
So, what are some of the inquiries you handle, and what is your primary role within the New York City location, which is, I believe, where you're based?
Yeah, so I am the point person for all recruitments essentially. So I manage our Southeast retail division. So that's every store from Washington D.C. all the way to Miami, Florida. I also am in charge of our distribution supply chain division. So
Mm.
all of our supply chain hires go through me essentially, and then I also do a lot of our corporate roles. So roles in finance, marketing, planning, merchandising, you name it. Once those roles come about, I typically will help the team and source for those roles. So I am, like you said, I'm based in New York, so there's a lot of our corporate headquarters is based here. So there's a lot of times where collaboration is a very important key to the puzzle. So whether that's meeting with different hiring managers or different candidates, it's a special thing that I really enjoy. Again, I love to connect with people. I love learning about people. I love telling people about our story, my story. So it's a fun little gig I got here.
So, with all like the stuff you handle, would you say like there's one part of your job that's like more challenging, or do you think they all go hand in hand and you kind of work through problems like as they come, and then with the people you work with?
Yeah, I think the challenge in today's market is I would say it people are very direct now. They know what they want, which I think is awesome. So I
Yeah.
think salary can sometimes become an issue. I think sometimes people's salary expectations are a little out there. So I think that's the thing, and people are willing to leave money on the table for comfort, and as they should if that's what they're looking for. So we have a lot of times where people don't want to come to the office, so they want to be remote. So that's a challenge that we're also working with. But I think flexibility is very important. That's something that our company really does preach. But I think with the salaries that are going on right now, I think it's a great time for someone to enter the job force. But at the same time, people are not always willing to take that risk or take that chance. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we're experiencing is that people just really don't want to work. They don't want to take that initiative to go through an interview process, or they don't want to leave that little comfort zone that they're in. So I think that's a challenge that we're really going, or they're being more entrepreneurial. They want to work for themselves, which is amazing too. But I think that's the biggest challenge is the talent right now. It's not as I would say fluid coming in. It's a lot harder to get. And the people that are at these established companies or established roles, if they're going to leave, you have to pay them maybe more than you would have paid in the past.
Right. Well, I guess that's good for, the younger generations who are looking for those opportunities post college and
Absolutely.
stuff. Just a good way to keep your eyes open for any opportunities that may come. Cause I feel like
Hmm.
sometimes with the brand name, it can be like intimidating. It's like, do I apply? Cause they might turn me down because I don't have this whatever credential and stuff. But it's almost like if you never go for it, you'll never know. And if you don't try, who knows? And I think it's about, yes, experience is important, but it's also about who you are as a person, how you're going to contribute
Yeah.
to the company, and what are you going to bring that the company might benefit from. So I think just, I guess, advice is to like not be afraid. Obviously, yes, bigger names like Burberry can be intimidating. However, like for me personally, I tend to go for those things just because, like, what if, you know what I mean? So like
Hmm.
I just think that's super interesting and like just something to keep an eye out for.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. I think sometimes you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations because those are the ones that you really learn from. So, no, absolutely. You're right with that.
Awesome. So for someone looking to just purchase a special piece from Burberry, what is one that you might recommend? What's like iconic to the brand that you feel like someone who has like no Burberry should like have?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not one to tell people how to spend their money.
Yeah.
But obviously a lot of our items are very pricey. But they're just for their very good quality. But for me, I think my favorite thing, it's probably the first purchase that I made, even as an employee, was my trench coat. I think that's something that stands the test of time. It just goes with everything. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. So it's my favorite piece of my collection. But I think when you're buying fashion, and if you're going to be investing in it, invest in something that you're going to be able to utilize for a long period of time that you can pass down to generations. So I think for me, it's that trench coat. I love wearing it. I love trench coats. Either I love putting on a hoodie, or if I'm going out with my friends, put a dress shirt on or something where it just always pops.
Yeah, no, that's super true. And I feel like everyone has different tastes. So it's like everyone's gonna, be attracted to something else. But I have like
Hmm.
a belt, and I honestly wish like I got something else instead of the belt just because I find myself not wearing belts that much. And it's like it's such a beautiful belt. However,
Yeah.
I'm not wearing it a lot because I'm just not that into belts. So like why did I spend the money? And like, I don't know. I think I just wanted something from Burberry, and so I resorted to that. However, if I could go back, I might get more of like something I could actually like wear, like a coat, like
Yeah.
you're saying, or but
Yeah, wear your coat, wear your bags, wear your sneakers, guys.
yeah.
That's my advice.
So how many Burberry locations are there, and how does Burberry maybe like succeed or differ between competitors similar to like Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton?
So yeah, we have currently 62 stores in the Americas, and we're looking to expand upon that. I think it's a really exciting time for our brand in the sense that we have a new chief creative officer, Daniel Lee, who comes from Bottega Veneta, and if anybody knows about fashion, but Daniel Lee really spearheaded their success in the last couple of years. He was the designer of the year. He designed those amazing the cassette bags, the pouch bags. So he really put Bottega on the map with the Bottega Green as well. And we have a new CEO, Jonathan Ackroyd, who he has a very extensive history with Versace and Alexander McQueen, and history of turning businesses around. So we're really looking to elevate this brand. So I think as far as what kind of will separate us, it's our uniqueness in the sense that we are a British company. And we have such a rich history. Our trench coats were used for the military in the World Wars, Gabardine, and we have something for everybody, men, women, and children, which really feels like those other brands. But I think for us, it's that unique Britishness, the history, and kind of the fact that I think right now we're in a place where people are kind of tired of some of the same stuff that's been out there. I think people are getting brand fatigue with, you're seeing it with Gucci, you're seeing it with LV a little bit. And I think right now for Burberry, because, Riccardo Tisci was very distinct with his style, and now you're going to see a different change. I think that's really going to help us, generate a lot of buzz and excitement for the brand going forward. So I'm really excited to see where Burberry goes in the next few years.
Yeah, same with me. I feel like there's always some type of I guess embellishment to the brand. Even like something where it's not so much that plaid design, it's more so like, I feel like just branching off a little bit to different, like pinks and blues with purses and stuff. Like I think it's super cool. And even the sneakers, like that traditional plaid sneaker, you guys have colors in, I believe, like pink, blue, and something else. But I think that's really true about like the wearing out, because for example, like Michael Kors, like I feel like people don't really want to buy Michael Kors anymore just because like, or it sells cheaper. Like it sells in Marshalls for like, you can buy like a bag for like $25 and stuff. So I feel like value goes down if you don't kind of keep expanding and keep being creative and keep giving people like what they want to see, like that excitement. So yeah, I think that British history is a really good way of putting it, where people just know it's coming from like a good background, a good history. So it makes people, interested in it and want to keep expanding on their collections, I guess.
No, yeah, absolutely. And to bring up Michael Kors, I think the fact that a lot of people do have Michael Kors. So for me, at least, I don't want something that everyone else has. And I think with Burberry, especially, it's um, when you think Burberry, I'm sure you think of trench coat, you think outerwear. You're not thinking handbags immediately,
Yeah.
like you do with some other brands. So I think for us now that with Daniel Lee and his history of making successful accessories, I think that'll put a different change. People are going to want something different. So I think that's really going to help our business and the excitement for that. So yeah, definitely excited about that.
For sure. So, with your time at Burberry this far, what special opportunities have you been provided that kind of made an impact in just being an employee for them?
Yeah, I think right off the bat, I was able to get mentorship from a lot of people who have been in, the fashion industry, whether it's with Burberry for a long period of time or with other brands. So being able to pick their knowledge has been really helpful and really a blessing, as well as the opportunity to travel. I think that's something that I really enjoy, and I've been fortunate enough to be traveling to different markets to kind of visit stores and go to mystery shop other stores to see what the competitors are doing, and try to poach talent if I can. So that's one of my favorite things about the job. So I've been to Atlanta, I've been to Miami, I've been to our New York store. So it's really nice to be able to get into the store, see the product, and then also at the same time going to other stores and seeing what they're doing, how their client advisors are selling, and what talent looks like as an overall um, it, in luxury. So it's a nice thing that I have as far as being able to have that. But I think the biggest thing for me is that mentorship, that guidance that I also get.
Yeah, I feel like you are able to get a greater perspective on like just the overall community at Burberry, not only solely in like New York City, which I'm sure is a really big establishment there, but just kind of seeing the other employees, seeing who's
Hmm.
like-minded to you, how can you grow and learn from these people? Like I feel like it can also help you in your position too. And I feel like connections are just super important like everywhere. So
Hmm.
I'm sure for you, those connections that you can bounce off ideas and try to make not only your role a better time, but also just like the whole company. Because obviously you're passionate about them and you want to see them succeed. So
No, yeah, absolutely. That's a great point you make. And the sense that the customer in New York is different from the customer in Atlanta, and the customer in
yeah.
Atlanta is different from the customer in Miami. So being able to, be on the ground and kind of seeing what's going on really gives me a lot of insight and helps me a lot in recruitment when I'm doing roles for them.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. So, any advice now you can give to someone looking to pursue a job for just a luxury brand like Burberry or any of the others? And, what does it take to be noticed by such companies? I guess for you as the talent acquisition specialist, like what do you look for?
So network, network, network. That's what I will tell you.
Yeah.
I think that's super. It's There's a saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and sometimes that is very true.
Mhm.
So I think networking really does help. So if you don't have a LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn, create a profile, reach out to people because yeah, you're gonna reach out to maybe 50 people. One of them might respond, but that's the one you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Is you just need
True.
one. Sometimes is you need an opportunity. And me coming from a background where I didn't have a lot of luxury fashion experience or experience in a certain area of HR. So I think that really helps is people who take the initiative. That's what I look for, and I'm always willing to give people a chance. I love people who are aggressive and hungry because I think those are qualities that translate really well in the workforce. I don't think sometimes it's I don't look for skill all the time. I look for will, and I think that makes a difference because the skills can be taught, will can't.
Yeah.
So that for me is just network, 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 and like I said, all it takes is one opportunity to change your life.
For sure. I think that you kind of have to put fear aside and like remember your end goal. It's like, what do you want? Do you
Mhm.
want, to regret not reaching out to somebody because they have a really big title, or do you want to reach out and maybe they'll answer and actually provide you and take a chance on you, like you were saying? So that's kind of how I live, just because I am young and I'm in this, world where there's a lot of people that, want jobs, and it's like, how are you going to stand out among others? And like, you have to do things I also think that separate you, that don't make you just, fit in with the crowd. Like when there's a bunch of candidates resumes, you get like, who are you going to pick when there's so many? Like there has to be something, that stands out. And I definitely think character, like I was saying earlier, goes hand in hand with that. Like just being hungry and like the drive,
Mhm.
and not being afraid to fail, because I feel like sometimes failures like definitely lead to more growth and learning. So I think there's just a bunch of lessons there that listeners should really take in, because at the end of the day, you kind of just have to worry about what you want for yourself and what's best for your life. And sometimes that means taking chances or doing things that seem more scary than you probably want to do.
No, yeah, absolutely. And when you message, we notice, even though we may not reply, but we notice. So, for example, I had a similar situation where a VP, someone messaged him, and he told me to reach out to her. So we notice, we talk, and a lot of you don't have to always reach out to the talent partner. You can reach out to someone who's working in finance. You can reach out to someone who's working in marketing, and just kind of pick their brain, because a lot of these companies also have incentives for referrals. So trust me, if they can refer somebody, it makes them look good and they can make some money out of it too. So do it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, that's super true. So finally, Roz, what are some ways to stay connected, and just learn more about you and Burberry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very active on LinkedIn. So, you can follow me on LinkedIn, or connect with me. And I post about our opportunities quite often. At the same time, I will post stuff about the latest stuff in Burberry and fashion. But I think LinkedIn's a great platform. It's more than just, clicking on jobs. It's really about connecting and really opening your eyes to a different realm of business.
Yeah, well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. It was really great getting to learn more about you, your position, and just Burberry as a whole. Awesome company and one of my favorites. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you so much, Olivia.